Today is November 12th, 2014, and this is going to be budget lesson 4. And in this lesson, I'm going to keep it pretty short, I think. But since the last one went over some of the cleaning supplies that I use or have found work and I can stretch a little bit, I thought I would also go over some of the materials that I use for actually applying those cleaning supplies and things that I that I would clean with, for example, washcloths, sponges, that type of thing. And what I keep in mind with that is, some things last longer than other things. So you can stretch your money further by using the things that will last longer. So anyway, these sponges, of course, are very convenient, and I love to use them. But after a while, you have to toss them. They're eventually disposables. Washcloth, on the other hand, is something that you can reuse for years. And so basically, when I'm thinking about how much I'm going to spend on sponges for my dishes or cleaning floors or cleaning anything, I have to think about, convenience versus cost. And because, so what I do is I do keep these washcloths on hand because because I know that it is the most practical thing to be using for washing dishes, even washing the floor, just washing just about anything. Your money is going to last a lot longer if you use something that's reusable and that lasts for years. And you just throw it in the washing machine or, boil it even. And, it's just, you can reuse it many times. With the sponges, of course, you can boil these or use a little bleach, but eventually, they decompose, they degrade. And yet, I still like to have them on hand. I like to use them for convenience, sometimes washing my dishes. I like the scratchy side along with the sponge side. So I do use them. And I just have to think, okay, how much will I use them versus my longer term option that I'm also going to be using. So in a way, then it's a compromise on how much I am spending. It's not being extremely strict with myself, forcing myself to use only washcloths, but it's also trying to be prudent in balancing the cost between convenience and spending additional money, or actually saving additional money. So another thing with the sponges is when I use these sponges, because I do boil them, or sometimes in between boiling, I might put a little, just a small amount of bleach and let them soak for a little while, so they're not, too contaminated. But the last time I got sponges, I got a 6-pack because I use them for different things. So that is something that is not exactly as maybe cost effective, but I just think for myself, it seems to be slightly more sanitary, or you could boil it every single time, but that just wouldn't be, I'm not going to boil my sponges after every single use. That's not practical to me. So, so I do have, these are ones that are being used right now, and this is one that I use for my dishes, and this is one that I use for cleaning up guinea pig stuff. And I don't like the idea of using a guinea pig sponge for my dishes. I don't, even if I boiled it and put bleach on it, if I had to make do, then I would on occasion if I'm running short on sponges. But if I can avoid it, I like to have 2 different ones. And then I also have, occasionally, I might use the guinea pig one also for my floors. But I also have this one, which I still have from using on my floors. And I like this one because it has a very tough, scratchy side on the back. And allows me to get a good cleaning in the tile or the vinyl that I have, which has a few grooves here and there. The other item that I use, which I really love, is a bottle brush, and that is very practical. It just cleans all these things that you can't reach with you reach into the neck, any kind of certain bottles, and it holds up really well, lasts long. It's getting discolored a little bit, and I've tried bleaching it and boiling it actually many times, and at some point I'm going to have to get a new one, but it really holds up well, and it's very sturdy. The bristles last for a very long time. So cosmetic appearances is probably the main thing with the bottle brush. The other items that I use, of course, with all the cleaning is towels. And towels versus paper towels is the same thing. You can get paper towels, which I do on occasion for certain things, because sometimes you're cleaning your house and you don't want to have to wash this towel every single time you clean something. So paper towels are disposable, and they're nice to use on occasion. But then I also have my regular towels, which I keep on hand, just like a washcloth, for more general purpose things and more everyday kinds of drying things or wiping things down. And the other factor that comes into play with all of this, that is unique to my situation and maybe to some others as well, is that I currently I haven't had a washing machine. So in the summer that works out fine, because I wash clothes in the bathtub, or pretty much usually in the bathtub or the sink, and rinse them and then hang them outside to dry, and have no problem with that. But in the winter it gets to be a little trickier. And I have figured out in my space, every space is different wherever you're living, yet you figure things out for what you're working with. But with what I'm working with, I found that the easiest way to dry something out, if it's not sunny outside, is to hang it over racks in the bathroom, which is the smallest room in the house. And if I put a heater in there, like a spot heater, then of course, fire safety matters all taken into consideration. It will dry everything out a lot faster if I just try to contain it into a smaller room than if I just drape things all over the house and hope they dry on their own. And it takes a lot longer. So in doing laundry too, I'm having to always weigh, okay, how many clothes can I do or how many clothes can I wash and dry, versus how many times do I really want to do a whole load, and what's the size of that load, and how much detergent am I using or saving.